Okay.
Yeah, we're rocking.
No, it's
She's
not there
coming
yet.
Right.
Almost there.
Meeting of the Appraisal Review Board.
Hang on.
Aransas
Charlie.
County
Charlie.
is
Hold
called-
on just a second. The YouTube is trying to come up.
We had Zoom live, but the YouTube
Miss
populates.
Lynn is here?
Hey, Miss Wynn,
Morning.
we're gonna be right over there, ma'am.
Yeah, we're
Okay,
No, it's not there
Charlie.
yet.
Now we're rocking.
Yeah, we're on now.
Almost there.
Yeah, you can minimize that or.
Calling
Yeah.
to order the meeting of the Appraisal Review Board.
Hang on.
Aransas
Charlie.
County.
Hold on just a second. The YouTube is trying to come up.
We had Zoom live, but the YouTube
Miss Lynn
populates.
is here?
I can go out of that.
Yeah, you can. Hey, Miss Wynn, we're gonna be right over there, ma'am. No, not that one. Not that one. The YouTube.
Yeah, we're
Okay,
rocking.
now we're rocking right here.
Yeah, we're on now.
Yeah, you can minimize that or. There's.
Calling to order the meeting of the
Close it.
Appraisal Review Board.
Charlie.
Yeah, it's still zooming. It's still rocking.
I like that one.
Are we recording?
I believe so.
Okay. Calling to order the meeting of the Appraisal Review Board for Aransas County. It is July the 28th, 2020, at 8:30 in the morning. Do we have a quorum?
Yes,
We have a
yes,
quorum.
sir, Chairman, we do.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning, Miss Wynn.
Okay, we're opening a hearing on case ID 2020-1501, account 59412. We have a little administrative to take care of before we get started. Just bear with us. This hearing is being recorded. We are the Appraisal Review Board that will be hearing your protests today. The Appraisal Review Board are the four of us, and Mike Soto is the district representative. We do not work for the appraisal district. We are appointed to perform an independent review of your protest. At the end of the hearing, you may complete a survey regarding your experience. The survey may be completed using a survey form and emailed to ptad.communications@cpa.texas.gov or online at surveymonkey.com/r/survey-ARB. Survey is voluntary. You also have the right to appeal our decision. Appeal information will be provided to you with our determination. In accordance with Tax Code Section 4145H, all written material that has not been provided must be provided at this time. Do we have all your evidence in the system?
I don't understand what you talk to.
Do we have your papers and what you're gonna talk about, your evidence?
Oh, I determine now. I want my test for my health a little bit low.
Okay.
There's no evidence.
There's no
scanning
evidence
the
in
Okay.
account.
Yes, I know.
ARB members who are considering the protest have not communicated with anyone about the protest and are signing an affidavit to that effect. I, Charles Powers, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of Tax Code Section 641.66.
I, Kathy Hoffman, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of Tax Code Section 41.66.
I, Cindy Deck, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of Tax Code Section 41.66.
I, Robert Dayton, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of Tax Code Section 41.66F.
All testimony from all witnesses must be given under oath. Jack? Can you help?
What?
Yeah.
What's your name? I don't know.
This is the.
Can you read that for us, ma'am?
I can't.
Yeah, read out loud. Can you read it out loud?
Oh, I don't read it good. I do solemnly and swear affirm that's the testimony I shall present to the appraisal review board for the Aransas 40 and Brepso district is the two and correct.
There you go. Can you tell us your name out loud?
My name
Yes.
Susan Nguyen.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you for having me.
My name is Michael Soto. Do solemnly swear or affirm the testimony I shall present to the prison review board for the Aransas County Prison District is true and correct.
Ms. Nguyen, do you want to go speak first, or do you want Mike to speak first?
Mike,
You want me to speak first? Okay. Okay, so this, let's see, we've got, the market value for this subject property. It looks like we went from, 142 to 169. Essentially, the structure remained the same, but it looks like the land went up. And, this board may or may not remember that, the area west of 35 in Fulton actually went up on a price per square foot basis. This particular house is currently appraised at 169, 140. And if you can see, this is the location right here. This is the property. Even though it's 169, it's currently assessed at 159. It's frozen. It's been frozen for a little while. So, you know, with the exception of the navigation district, I mean, there's really very little impact on value unless you went below the 159.
Can you
Having
point out on the map, I'm confused exactly where that is.
Sure, not a problem. It's this is the location of the blue right here, and this is 35 to the. So then we're in this orientation. We're looking south. This is the Husa. So it's at the corner of like basically it's on the Husa. This is 35, and this is that candlestick.
Okay, I still don't know where it is.
Just take a zoom out one time. And do the north orientation if you don't mind. It's a little bit. Okay, so this is 35 right here. This is the Fulton Fire Department right here. This is the it's not the Best Western. It's the Hampton Inn right here. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And then you go a little bit further. And there's that rental place for the U-Haul place.
Yeah.
So it's behind there. It's
Oh,
right
up by the
there.
Humane Society.
Humane
Not too
Society.
far from there. It's down Myrtle Lee.
Down Myrtle.
Yeah, Humane is somewhere else. But anyways, this is the location.
Okay, thank you.
There's like 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 houses in here that are all kind of built at the same time.
And then that's a storage facility in front of it, right? Up to 35.
This place right here, I'm sorry, this place right here is the U-Haul storage right here.
Oh, okay.
And so, like I said, these houses, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, they're all kind of built by the same person or the same general construction type, and they were built about the same time.
Okay.
Anyways, this subject property is at 169. The area west of 35, their land attribute went up. And for this particular property, they're actually held down because they're homesteaded over 65. So they're already kind of frozen. You can see that right there, over 65. Moving on, the thing under protest is market value, and market value on the comp number 1, you'll see on 3rd Street, that one sold for $212 when compared with the subject, has a value of $203. You can see that the land is very similar now on 3rd Street, that the land value west of 35 is similar to that east of 35 now. And you can see that the land value for this particular account is similar. But notice that the stuff on 3rd Street is still.
This is your house. These are other houses in the area, and he's comparing what they're worth to what yours is worth.
that's my house.
Yes, this one always, the subject. That's your house, okay?
Okay.
Just so you know.
Yeah.
So he's comparing
Yes.
other houses to yours.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so, if you'll notice that comp number one is almost half the square footage as the comp, as the subject itself. That kind of tells you that the stuff on east side of on the east side of 35 is still more valuable. It's just that the stuff on the west side has come up more on the land value. So comp number one is a really good illustration of, hey, it's half the land size, but almost the same value as actual value. Comp number two is on 4th Street. Again, it's when appropriately adjusted, renders a value of 169. Comp number three is on 5th Street, sold for 158. Again, if you're looking at that, it renders a value of 180. And then comp number four is at 302 6th Street. That one sold for 157, renders a value of 176. If you look at the median value for all of those render a value of 178. Now you'll look at the home. What's important to look is if you can go back to the card, I guess. And yeah, you'll notice the home. I mean, we have a 4F MV plus. It's really more commensurate with the 5, but the style and construction in years past, we try to hold that down a little bit because it was not, the exteriors, I mean, the interior is not as nice as the exterior of these. Having said that, the only thing under protest is market value, which we have a value of 178, 316, which supports a value of 169, 140. Yeah, the value went up for the land, but if you're looking at the entire package for the house and the land together at 169, and you ask yourself on the open market in the greater Rockport Fulton area, 170, 175, this doesn't last on the market but a week or two, and it sells pretty quickly. I don't know the conditions of the property on the inside. I know that they did have some damage after the hurricane. We're 3 years we're almost 3 years post hurricane, and hopefully we have it as 100% complete right now. So that's all we got. The equity was not marked. The equity value is supported at 185 for the record.
Is there a neighborhood code or anything in that area?
No, there's not like other areas, Cindy. There's just the land table itself. So I'd be glad to investigate the ones next door, like the houses next door, like the land value if you want.
I'm just curious to know, if you don't know.
Yeah, sure. So if you go to the pictometry, and then we'll just pull up one of these numbers, Jackie.
Ma'am, he's going to pull up your
pull up
neighbors
this
so
one
you
right
can
here.
see
61566.
that the value on yours is like everyone around you.
And so if you'll go into that one's valued at 216,000. You go into the land value, 475 a foot. There's an 85% reland there. Let's look to see what the subject is.
A what now?
There's 85%.
Reland?
Uh-huh.
I don't know.
It's an old adjustment, but it's at 475 a foot, just like the subject. Let's go to the next one.
And that's the lot that was like basically the same
Yeah.
size?
Yeah, it's right next door.
Okay.
It's 475. They're both 475. This one has an adjustment.
Is it 61567? Is that it?
Yeah, 67. The next one. That one has that one's on a 10th Street. It's not the same.
What's that at?
It's again, that has a reland in it as well. This one's 69,000, but it's only at 35,380. So,
What does it have on it?
yeah, continue on.
Wait, the whole property, and that was double the size?
Well, not quite double, but yeah,
It looked like it,
yeah, I agree.
so
There's
we
no
need
doubt,
to check that one.
of course. 65248,
That's bigger piece.
yeah, yeah, it's bigger.
So was the last one, it was double.
That one has the same 35, but it's on 370 rather than 475. So the 370 is probably due to the size, the economy of size. So the 475 is the base price. I guess based on that what you see is that the other one should be like the one right next door, which should have 85% reland. So, I mean, at the very least,
That'd be
for
a
equity.
15% discount on land then.
Yes, 15. It'd be 85% of the 57,000.
What
Yeah.
is that designation? I don't know what that is.
The reland, it's an old adjustment that was from whenever we did our computer software. It's an old adjustment. The reality is that at some point, all of our appraisers warranted that change just because if it's next to the U-Haul, maybe it's next to that
Oh, okay,
Roadies
so-
or something like that. So some kind of economic thing. I don't have my calculator.
15% discount.
Sorry, I was drinking.
450.
So 57,000 times 0.85 would render a value. Hey, did I do that right? 5700 times 0.85. 48,450.
So that would put the total value.
That's all we got. She hasn't even presented yet, though.
Right. All right, so ma'am,
Yeah,
now you get to talk and explain to us why your value should be lower,
yeah.
okay? And you've got 5 minutes.
I don't understand, but I heard somebody say, when you retire over 65, your house have a discount little bit for the house.
A discount on the house.
Yes,
What we did was,
No, for over 65, she said.
the over 65.
yes, ma'am.
Yes, Mike, maybe can you explain that it shows that value, but actually she's only gonna pay tax dollars on?
Because you have a homestead at over 65, so one of the owners is over 65.
Yeah.
Even though the value is 169, you'll see that the cap loss here, and then you'll see an assessed value of 156. So this is really what you pay tax on right now. But what you're here today is you said incorrect appraised value, so we're talking about this value coming.
Yes.
And I know that right now we've already looked at that and made an adjustment, but if you want it, this is your time to tell us why you think it's lower than that.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, new, but now little bit old. My house, the 20, but now little bit old.
Depreciation. I think is what she's referring
Yeah.
to.
Yes.
Right.
And looks like there was a little bit of that.
Yeah, it's coming down commensurate with the tables. It went from 113 and change to 112 and change.
That's true.
It's a 2000 built structure.
Should we explain
So
to
that's
her?
taken into account.
That may
That's taken into account, the depreciation, because it's getting older.
on your tax bill, the value of just your house went from 113,000 down to 112,000 because it's getting older.
Yes,
So it accounted for that, okay?
okay,
And then, we found a place where, we could change the value of your land,
yeah.
okay?
I know your land not for this guy, land is a little bit high.
Yes,
Yeah,
it was high, but we lowered it down,
okay,
okay? We lowered it to, instead of 57,000, we lowered the land, or instead of your total being 169, 169,000, we lowered it to 160,000, okay?
okay,
So, but still, because of your over 65 exemption,
yes,
your amount that you pay taxes on
yes,
is less than that. It's very confusing.
This is her turn. Do
So,
you have anything else?
oh. That's all I need,
That's all?
that's all.
I think we're probably good with the
I
160.
think we should just go with that.
I do too. I think
One
that,
question I have is how then does the cap loss come in?
The cap losses, you would have to get to
below 159.
you would have to get below 156 to affect any assessment lower than that. I mean, obviously they pay, the cap loss is, and I think we've explained this before, but hypothetically, if a person had $100,000, and this is irregardless of the over 65, because the over 65 freezes the taxes or freezes the levy amount.
Okay.
But let's just talk about homestead. So hypothetically, if you had $100,000 and you had a homestead, and the marketplace said that in the next year that the market value was 140. Okay, just market value. Well, your cap would say you could only go up 10% more. So you would essentially go to in year one you would go up to 110.
Gotcha.
And in year two you would go to 121.
It would go up
And
every
then
single
in
year.
year three you would go to 12 on top of the 121. So that'd be what, 130, 33.
Something, yeah.
And then by year four you would actually equal 140 and 140, so there would be no cap loss.
Okay.
So all I will say is that it's system driven, so it's just there.
Okay.
So it calculates the 10%, but she won't pay, with the exception of the navigation district, which doesn't have those, for over 65, there's essentially no change, basically. Even though the value, we're correcting the value.
Okay.
And that's what she protested was value.
We just need to adjust the land.
Yes.
So we have lowered, we're going to lower your total value from 169,140. We're going to lower it to 160,590. Okay?
Is that okay with you?
Yes,
All right.
Okay, so I make a motion on account number 59412, that based upon what we heard from the district and the property owner, that we lower the total property value to $160,590.
Yes.
And I believe this takes
Do we need
into
to be specific about
consideration
saying that it's
the market
taken as a
value.
ruin,
No,
so it matches up with the other properties?
no, I've even got a note that I was just taking to the appraisers to make sure and everything's congruent in that area.
Okay.
I want to clean up that area.
Okay, thank you.
And
I second.
Jackie, but it should come off the land. The difference should come off the land.
Okay.
Thank you, Dee.
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
Okay,
it's done.
so your value's lower
yes.
to 160,000.
Thank you very much.
Okay. We're done.
There's no more, but this one is an affidavit.
See, that didn't even hurt, did it?
You wanna do that?
There's no
Thank
more?
you very much for having.
Thank you for
We'll
coming.
do the
You
affidavit.
can,
Okay.
you can provide it.
Thank
I'll be
you.
right back, Fred.
You're welcome. There's an affidavit for later. We don't have anybody else for 8:30,
Oh,
but there's
okay.
an affidavit for later that we'll move up.
Okay,
Do it now.
cool.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
Yay, we can throw that away.
8:30's done, huh?
Yeah.
Why do people make appointments and then
I don't know. I really, to bother to fill out the paperwork.
yeah, then they'll show.
They took a survey. I guess people who had protested and asked if they thought there should be a penalty for no-shows. And they said no. Go figure.
I think we should.
I think there
Wasting
should
our time.
be.
I mean, we're sitting.
Well,
here
and
wasting our time.
The appraisal district has to pay us. Okay,
Yeah, such an informative now, but-
I
So
know,
it's
I know.
8:30?
It's like, okay, that's a
No,
joke,
there's one
but,
from 1:30.
Whatever, yeah.
There's
Nobody else.
nobody else came in at 8:30, so you can read an affidavit later in the day.
Yeah, it was on the 1:30 docket for 853.
What's the number?
Case 853.
On the 1 o'clock.
Oh, and it's the guy next door. Sorry, no. 853.
Where is it?
It's late in the day.
Yeah,
So
it's
it's on
afternoon.
page 4 at the top.
I see.
Is this in Palm Harbor?
Dude, wearing that mask just makes me all.
Oh, no, I know. Now my nose is running. It's like, are you kidding me?
My nose is running, my ears hurt.
Now I'm
You all
sick.
set?
Just a
Yeah.
minute.
Huh?
Yes,
Yes?
yes.
Okay, opening hearing 2020-853, count
Page 4 at the
Two.
top.
30277. This hearing is being recorded. We are the appraisal review board that will be hearing the protest today. At the table is myself, Charlie Powers, Kathy Hoffman, Cindy Duck, and Robert Dayton. Mike Soto represents the district. We do not work for the appraisal district. We are appointed to perform an independent review of the protest. Protester has the right to appeal our decision. Appeal information will be provided to the protester with our determination. In accordance with Tax Code Section 4145H, all written material is assumed to have been provided with the affidavit. ARB members who are considering the protest have not communicated with anyone about the protest are signing affidavits to that effect. I, Charles Powers, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of Tax Code Section 41.66F.
Kathy?
I, Kathy Hoffman, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of tax code section 41.66.
I, Cindy Duck, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of tax code section 41.66F.
I, Robert Dayton, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of tax code section 41.66F.
All testimony from all witnesses must be given under oath.
My name is Michael Soto. I do solemnly swear or affirm the testimony shall be presented to the appraisal review board for the Aransas County Appraisal District is true and correct.
The representative will now read the affidavit into the record.
Certainly. The taxpayer evidence on the protest form, they indicated market value unequal. And on the property owner's affidavit, they indicated the same, incorrect appraised market value unequal compared with other properties. Property account number 30277, years 2020, Carl Hilton. The property under description is 136 Palm Drive. They say 2 pages with this affidavit. They say on here, property is overvalued, both market and equity. OPV is $320,000. I do not intend to appear at the hearing either by telephone conference. This affidavit and the evidence and or argument submitted with it may be used for the hearing if I do not appear at the hearing. Signed by John Nichols, before Sophia Rothermel is the person that witnessed the signature. Tax recourse, account number 30277, tax year is 2020. Opinion of value is $320,000 by John Nichols. On the next page, what they have is just the back is one of our grid pages. It's a comp sales grid, and it's just one page. And it looks like they highlighted 365,273. And I'm looking for any other notation that they have on here. I cannot see any other
I don't see
notation.
any, just that one.
Yeah, there's the 2 circles that it was like, hole punched, and then there looks like there's some inerrancies for their copier, but I don't see like a written annotation anywhere. So the only thing it looks like column number 1 is highlighted.
Oh,
And-
why?
And there's no other annotation. Therein lies the subject owner's property owner of evidence. Okay.
Maybe they thought they were the same as that one.
Their
But it's
opinion
not
of
the
value
value
is,
that he's recommending, so. I don't know.
their opinion of value is 20, and this is 300. What he
It's
highlighted was
665.
662.
Yeah.
That's great.
I'm going to go into my evidence. The subject property is 30277. You can see that this is it's at 130. Sold was a while ago, 83,000. The last page, we have a value of 1.01 for the weighted mean. All right.
See any reason to make any changes?
Don't either.
No, they didn't even present anything that was appropriate. Okay, so based on account number 30277, based upon what we heard from the appraisal district and what we received from the property owner's agent, and considering incorrect appraised market value and appraisal ratio exceeding the median level of appraisal, there is no reason to change the value for 2020 of $383,210.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right.
Case closed.
Ta-da.
So that was it for, this was actually 1:30, so the 8:30's done. We'll see as soon as somebody comes through at the 10 o'clock, and then we'll go from there.
Like 3, 4,
Yeah, we had 3 at 8:30, and then we have 4 at 10,
4, 10.
and then I think the afternoon's a 3 and a 4. I don't remember which and which. You have 7 in the afternoon, and that was one of the 7, so.
Did they settle something up there on the 8 o'clock or no? Just,
People just didn't come in. You know what happens this time of year?
I'm gonna start sending them letters and collecting money.
It's just, it's people's rights. I mean, they get the right to appear before their board, but they also have the right to schedule a hearing and not show.
And not show.
And it's unfortunately their right as well, so it is.
So
what it
I'm
is.
gonna do my right to demand that people show a little common courtesy.
I'm gonna leave that one right there.
Chicken.
I know. Only if I would have to, Charlie.
We're gonna start requiring a $50 upfront.
Yeah.
deposit.
Absolutely, when you
don't
show up, we'll give you your money back.
There you go.
I'm all over that one.
That's the question they tested. It was a resounding no.
Yeah, I can see why.
I'd be all over that.
Yeah, agree.
Split it amongst ourselves, we have lunch money.
Well, actually, I would make it a little lower, like 20, 25,
Yeah,
because then people wouldn't bother to call for it. Okay, so they
Yeah.
wouldn't show, they wouldn't bother. That money, then we could split.
yeah.
We could go, that, I think going to a nice lunch is a good idea.
I think people would be more apt to show up and get their $25 back.
I think 50 they
Here's the
would,
thing though, do we really want them to show up?
Sometimes no.
Yeah.
That's my point.
I don't know. Crazy. Very crazy.
Well, what should we talk about? Or who should we talk about?
Who do you want to talk about? Let's see.
Remember, you're still live.
I know, I have to be nice. Whew. Were they in person? The 10 o'clocks?
The 10 o'clock, the 3 that say in person and 1,
Oh, at 10 o'clock.
Nothing.
Yeah, one, 2, 3 in person, or one of either or.
So I wonder, Charlie, have they already gone through the, most of the consultant companies? So, if they were gonna show, they would have already been here. So,
I don't know who's left. She's got a schedule out
For the rest of the month.
Yeah.
through the 20th of August, but I don't have any details on who's left.
I think most of the ones that represent a bunch, we've always had them early. I've
yes,
seen so many.
well, and they all know about the 20th deadline.
Yeah.
So it seems like they would have gotten on the books.
Thanks.
Hey, Bev, do you know, so are we supposed to call you Elizabeth or Beth?
You can call it that.
Okay, so,
Don't call me late for dinner.
or he'll
Right.
just, or Charlie will just call you. I'm sorry, Charlie.
What?
I said, or Charlie will just call you whatever, But I'm only messing with you, Charlie.
I don't think we're scheduled.
Hey, you usually works.
So,
Yeah, right.
so have we already, like, the ones that are going
Oh, we're in
through
July.
property
Okay.
agents?
So
Yep.
this is our 8th week.
Because it seems like they all would have known about the July 20th and, they probably would have booked with
We're
us
scheduled
before.
for the
Yeah.
11th.
Do you know, like,
We still have a couple.
oh, really?
We've never gone.
Interesting.
Never gone that long?
But
Fourth year.
once they found out we were going longer, it makes sense because then they could knock out in the other counties that
Yeah.
weren't going longer. Got it.
Did they tell you?
I said, we have to fight with the other counties too, so whoever gets the postmark
notice
notice there first,
Yeah, I mean, Charlie
they
said
get, so.
6 to 8
Got
weeks.
We've had people
June,
reschedule a lot.
July, and-
Oh,
and-
they didn't tell me that.
Okay,
I had no idea.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
yeah, I was supposed to have left here, go on a trip to Europe for
Oh,
3.5
geez, you
weeks.
weren't
so-
gonna do that anyway, right?
No, not now, it was canceled, so.
Yeah, that's too bad.
Yeah.
Where are we going?
We're going to Britain, France, Luxembourg, Germany, Austria.
Wow.
It's a Stephen Ambrose World War II history tour.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm gonna
man.
go with my brother.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
I would have
Yeah.
kept that one,
That's too bad.
Well,
So they
they,
take you to different,
but they canceled it?
Yeah.
well, obviously, will they take you to different bases or places where there were battles or whatever?
Yes. Yep.
So are you a history buff?
Cemeteries, yes, yeah, yeah. Especially World War II history. I really enjoyed that. I went on a similar tour about 9 years ago, and it was really good.
Where did you go?
Most of those same countries, but this tour was same countries, but different places, some different places. And the Ambrose tours, a lot of places you went, like Pointe du Hoc on the coast of France there was lots of tour groups, but there were other places, like Brecourt Manor, where we were the only tour there. I mean, it was like a private,
Oh,
private
wow.
about 25.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, enough to fill a bus, rode around on a bus.
So you went around, you're not flying where you just go by bus everywhere.
Yeah, it was basically by bus. We went from Paris to Brussels by train.
Oh, that would have been cool.
Yeah, that was fun. So, yeah, it was great. It was a great tour. I would highly recommend an Ambrose tour. I mean, the hotels, the meals, everything were first class.
See, Macaulay, my son, loves like history. He
Yeah.
reads history.
My niece. too,
And he
she's
has
a
an
history
elephant.
major.
He remembers everything he reads.
Okay.
And I'm just like,
Yeah, the tour I went on in 2011, it was a lady from San Antonio who was a lawyer. And she told her niece and nephew that lived in Louisiana, I'll take you anywhere you want to go. And so the niece wanted to go to Disneyland. So she goes to Disneyland. But the 12-year-old son wanted to take this tour. And she was being a real good sport about it. I mean, she was,
Oh, the tour that you were going
yeah,
on?
yeah. Well, this is the one in 2011.
Oh,
And so she was there. This woman was probably in her 40s, I guess.
and she could have cared less.
Yeah.
I mean, she did care,
She didn't care,
but
but
it's not what she would have picked.
exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, but she was going along. But the 12-year-old kid, I mean, he was truly interested, really, truly interested and fascinated with all he was seeing. And
that's great.
great young man. I mean, he just was polite. And we were kidding him. Every time we'd go somewhere, he'd want to go to the souvenir shop or whatever. And he'd want to collect all these things. And finally, his aunt said, "We just can't keep doing this. I mean, we don't have the suitcase space to get all this stuff back home." And I got on the bus and sat next to him one day, and I said, "Ryan," I said, "I'm trying to figure out how we can get a tank home. If we're taking all the art in pieces, and we all kind of distributed it around."
Oh, no.
And the aunt goes, "Don't encourage him."
That's funny. My niece is a senior in college, University of Wisconsin. She's a history major. When she used to come down here and visit me all the time when she was young. And I think she was 12 or thereabouts. She was already interested in history. So we took her to the Alamo.
Okay,
And usually just sort of breeze, the kid, you sort of breeze through.
right.
We were there all day.
Yeah.
She read, my husband on that phone just sat down on a rock someplace. She read every notation, every picture, went through it, everything you could look at.
Yeah.
She looked at it. And she remembers it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My son was like that when I took him to the Body Worlds exhibit that came around 10 years ago or so.
For me?
He was fascinated because he wanted to be a doctor. And so he was the same way. Every piece, and every little thing, And they were kind of trying to, keep.
I know, that's
it,
great, yeah. That's interesting, you like that? Oof, let's go over here.
Yeah.
Right.
She gets irritated because of what's going on today in terms of history and
Oh, it's
erasing
horrible.
history.
Oh,
It's
it's
absolutely
horrible.
killing her.
Oh, I
You should
know.
see the comments she comes out with. She just hates this.
Has she ever read Kilmey's book on the Alamo?
I'm sorry, what?
Has she ever read Kilmey's book, Brian Kilmey's book on the
Yeah,
Alamo?
I'll have to ask her. I'll have to ask her. I
That's a
don't know.
good book.
Is it good?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like him.
I read a couple of his books. I haven't read the one on the Alamo, but yeah, he's a good writer.
Yeah.
You have not read it?
I've not read the one on the
Oh,
Alamo.
you should. It's
Okay.
good. It's really a good book.
Okay.
Is a story of history? I mean, is there a story
Yeah.
or is it just all history?
It's it's primarily all history. They go back before the Alamo and follow all these people that ended up there.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I'll read that. I like him, I see him advertise the book all the time.
Yeah. What's the title of that book? Actually, I may have read that.
It's called, it's not called The Alamo.
No.
It's called something else.
Yeah, actually, I think I have read that book. I got it from
It's
John
only, it
Sobe.
hasn't been out for that long. I mean,
Yeah.
a
it's
year
only few
maybe,
years
if
old.
that? Is it that old?
Yeah, a few years old.
Is it?
Yeah.
It's a new book, I believe, isn't it? Or is that the new book?
I don't know what his latest one is. That one could be his latest.
He's fairly prolific in
Yeah.
terms
Yeah.
of getting stuff out. And I haven't read any of it, but I really should.
Yeah, if that's the one I'm thinking of, I got that book from John Sobe. He and I exchanged books on history.
I tell you, the Alamo, I think they've done a fine job of, making you feel, because after being there was when it was like, holy,
Yeah.
just how coming up with a smart idea and then the numbers of people, against each, this would be a huge group, but because this was only 10 or whatever, it
Yeah.
just,
Probably looking
for
it
some
up.
reason at the Alamo, I
I
really
was trying to see
felt
if I could find
what
it.
they went through,
Yeah. Yeah, much more so than say Goliad or
Right. Well, and it's so compact.
yeah, so yeah,
It's
so small.
like, oh my God, for them to have held on as long as they did. Pretty awesome.
Sam Houston and the Alamo Avengers.
There you go.
No, that was not the title of the book I read. It was something
George
different.
Washington's Secret Six. Andrew Jackson and the Miracle of New Orleans.
I read that one.
Thomas Jefferson and the Tripoli Pirates. I read that one.
Yeah, it was the Andrew Jackson book. But I read another one. It must not have been by Kilme on Texas history. Because my Texas history is lacking because of when
Mine is too, because I didn't grow up here.
I didn't
I missed it when junior high when we moved from Texas to Oklahoma to back to Texas, and I just did that move. I missed it, but it was on the battles leading up to the formation of Texas as a country. Goliad, the Alamo, what was the other big one? Southeast of San Antonio. Anyway.
There's a really great book. I think it's one of the best books that I read. It's called Out Between Brothers.
Okay.
It's about Texas history, from the Indians through, the immigrants coming here, Sam Houston, the Alamo, to all battles, big book. That's a story as well, and it's really, really a good book.
Okay.
In fact, I went back and read it again a year or so ago. Aside from having a great story, it's a great history lesson.
Okay.
So,
I gotta,
if you would like, if you're interested in this Texas history, this is really detailed.
okay.
as
What was the
well.
name of it again?
Not Between Brothers.
Okay.
Well,
It'll be interesting to see how the airlines make it through all of this.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how they're doing it.
We're not gonna bounce back anytime soon.
I know, I feel terrible for them.
I had a cruise plan for October, the end of October. I'm not even gonna cruise ship, but my husband and I used to cruise all the time, but he doesn't anymore. He's too old and can't get around, but I need that type of needs, I can't get on a cruise ship anytime soon.
Yeah, that would be, It'd be one of those,
It's gonna
too
have
many
to be
people in
way
too small a
into next
space.
year sometime. This is gone. It's just, there's too many foreigners.
Well, and the
They're
air
busy cruising.
system,
They're on the boat, so shit. They fly. Cruises are worse.
I wanted to go back to Disney World for several years now. It's probably been 10 years since I've been there. And I'm thinking now might be a pretty good time to go.
It's
because
open.
oh, there wouldn't be that many
They open and
people.
there wouldn't be that many people.
Yeah, they're doing social distancing now. You would never stand in lines.
No.
If you did, you wouldn't be all packed up together.
Yeah.
I love Disneyland. I've been there for years and years and years. I don't really almost like Epcot better.
Last time I was there, they were updating Epcot. It's probably been close to 10 years ago. It's kind of
Oh,
neat.
for me, it's like more than 25 years.
Yeah, they've updated it since then.
But I think they're always, because one of the times when we went, because we take Macaulay a lot, no, I don't say a lot, but I guess we've been like 4 times. But, they were, like, every time we go, they're working on some section, like,
Oh, yeah. they're
half of
always-
Epcot
right.
was closed,
They're
and
always
it was
on something.
Epcot.
Yeah.
That was, the one that was shut down partially.
He's related to them.
I don't think they're on.
I'm sure somehow.
Yeah.
But yeah, she was his aunt. That was the one that has.
But, I wonder how they would, like, you go on any of the rides at Disney World, I wonder how they would space you out on those.
Good question.
Yeah, it's getting scarier.
I don't know, I think there's a mask. I think you have to wear a mask.
You have to do so many people, plus a family. At least that's
But I
one.
wonder about your hand, because on the rides,
You're touching them.
you hold on or put the thing across you.
I think the scariest one I ever went on there, you're going Space Mountain.
Oh,
I should never, I'm afraid of heights. One thing. Anyway, my husband and I, this is my ex-husband, walking up the, where you get on the thing. And all these signs are like, if you have a heart condition. And I didn't, but it was scared the living Jesus out of me. Anyway, we get up there and I got in this thing. I swear to God, I must have screamed the entire time. And when I got off, I literally, my husband had to pry my hands off. They were like frozen to the bar in front of you. I was terrified. But never, I should have known better.
Yeah.
Normally I don't leave the ground, except on an airplane. That's it.
Well, no, because my sister tried to convince, because I'm terrified of height. Well, not terrified, but just I'm not good with heights.
Even to see somebody else up high on the edge of something, my stomach I'm truly afraid of heights.
But my sister and husband, both of them, they were like, now, Cindy, you're in that thing and it's really fast and, they play this good music and da da
Yeah, and it's
da.
dark and you're down and up and down.
And I was like, no.
You didn't do it.
I sat on the ground and waited for them to get down.
That was smart.
It was like, nope.
Yeah, I don't know how people go on unless they sit in the front of roller coasters. I don't know how I started getting these on Facebook or someplace. Different roller coasters around the country.
Somebody started
Yeah.
sending you
And
pictures.
you're almost like you're on it. And I have to turn them off. I can't even watch that. But some of those are, ooh.
Who do you think even sent those to you, Kevin? Oh, goodness. That's crazy.
What's interesting though is the flying doesn't bother me. And, like sitting, I always want to take a window seat if it's two, 3 hours get an aisle seat, but looking out the window and planes and stuff, that doesn't bother me at all. But I don't know why. Fortunately, because I used to fly all the time, so.
My daughter is okay on big planes, but little planes that we flew, puddle jumpers,
Oh, I love those
little prop
planes.
planes around in the Caribbean.
Yeah.
She didn't like that at all.
Oh, I love those. The best one I ever did was in,
I like the little planes.
in Alaska. I used to do flyouts all the time. So there'd be 4 of us in the plane, you know, the guy, the pilot, my husband. I did one time in Alaska. I was on, where was I? Where was I? What's the island that's, it was, anyways, near Aleutians. And I wanted to do a flyout and I couldn't find one. So somebody said to me, go over to the mailman where he flies out of this little tiny, because it's a tiny little airport. And he said, he'll take you on the mail at the remote islands where
Yeah.
people, you know, they only get their mail and their food and stuff by plane or by boat. These are really remote colonies. So I went over the mail to him and I asked him, do you take me on this flight? He said, yeah, sure. I paid him, of course. And, we flew all over around the Aleutian Islands to different homesteads. And for about, I don't know, half a day, just me and him.
Oh, wow, that had to be
It was a floodplain.
cool.
So we got to land in all these beautiful harbors and inlets, and people would be waiting on the beach, and he would take them their mail or whatever they were. So sometimes we'd pick somebody up, but only one person could only hold 3 people. And that was the best fly out I've ever been on.
Yeah, neat experience.
Yeah, it was great. Because I was sitting right next to the pilot, so it was neat.
Oh, wow.
But I love those. I love little planes. I'm as happy on them as a big one.
Used to fly a lot in helicopters. Used to enjoy it.
I don't like
but-
helicopters.
Until I figured out, or learned how reliable they're not. So, yeah, I don't like getting on helicopters anymore.
I don't.
I never had the
helicopters.
pleasure of flying a helicopter.
The
My wife did. She got picked up by the Coast Guard one day.
Okay, the little ones are okay, but I didn't like the big ones.
Like big one, you mean
Fly
how many?
offshore, you'd have 14 or 16 people in a helicopter.
Gross, oh no,
That's
a
no,
big
no,
helicopter.
no.
You know, they're twin engine, they vibrate, they're just,
Oh, God, no.
yeah, I remember being stuck right, middle row, middle between,
Oh,
and I
jeez.
thought, man, if this thing goes down, I don't know.
And you couldn't, and could you even see like stuff around you? I mean,
Not much. but you can see
oh
lots of
no,
it.
oh no, 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 no.
Well, they pulled her up in a basket on the cable.
Okay.
Oh, jeez.
What happened?
Oh, she got bent.
She what?
Got the bends.
She got bent.
Oh, jeez.
It was no big deal.
Yeah,
Yes, it was,
To
Charlie,
me,
or they
that
would
would scare the hell out of me, getting in the basket. Oh, my God.
It was spinning.
Oh,
Yes.
Oh, God. And were you with her? No.
Yeah.
Oh, you were on the basket?
No,
Oh,
I was on a boat.
so you're watching her going, and you're like, oh,
That was like fun.
okay. Yeah, I don't think that's
Just
what
wanted to
you're,
remind me of ours.
What did she say?
we're still on.
Well, the whole world's listening to us?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we're not even, there's nothing that we're saying that's.
I once saw that happen with the basket and helicopter. We were on a cruise and they didn't have a heliport on the ship. It was an older ship. And something happened to somebody, I don't know what. They were, the whole top 3 decks of the boat, they cleared. This was the pool, the chairs, everything off. Everybody had to get down to, I think, the 9th or 10th level. And I don't know how they got rid of everything. Because when the helicopter was on top of the ship, the water around it was just swirling. And if it had all those things on the ship, they would have blown them all
Oh,
off,
yeah,
of course.
yeah.
And so they get this guy in a stretcher, and he's in a great big stretcher, and the helicopter's up there. They drop a guy down, and we could see this, and to get this person organized on the stretcher, and then they started twisting, taking him up to the plane, to the helicopter, and he was going like this.
Yeah.
I said to my
God.
husband, that was me. Oh, I had a heart attack on the spot. I mean, whether you had one or not, I don't know, but I would have had another one.
Right.
Holy mackerel. But now most cruise ships have, they won't have a helicopter. But that was, I would have been terrified.
Yeah, this was converted utility boat, oil field utility boat, only 110 feet. He couldn't land on.
No,
place.
no. Yeah, I don't want helicopters.
See, and we did, like, when we first started going to like Hawaii and all, we'd go
Oh,
on
we
a
did.
helicopter ride at each island the first time we
I've done
went
that, yeah.
to get, or, just to kind of see everything. And it's like, but at that time I was like my weight was a lot less. No, I mean, so I loved it because I always got to sit up front next to the pilot, which is the best view, and you can see everything. And
I did all those in Hawaii too, and that's what actually turned me against helicopters after a while. I got terrified of them. The last one we went on, I think it was on Maui or Hawaii. We were, all the wonderful mountains, and got between two mountains and stuff, and he just hovered there for like 5 or 10 minutes, and I thought I was going to while
you're like, let the helicopter down.
I don't care about the scenery, get me off this thing.
Well, no, and it's fun, because the last one that I went on, I was like that. It was like, I literally had my eyes closed and I was just like, dear God, just get us. I just knew we were gonna crash. I got it in my head somehow, and I just knew we were going to.
We used to have a guy here in Rockport. He's since moved to San Antonio, but he was in the military, and flew helicopters in the military, and told us that he made a hard landing one day, and the tail came off, and the struts came up through the cabin, and we used to kid him that we were going to take it out of his salary. He owed us for that helicopter.
Yeah.
Everybody, I know a number of friends who flew helicopters in the war, Vietnam War, and they're basically deaf now. Because after all that noise, even though they had headphones on and everything, I don't know what they did, but from flying so many helicopter runs, those open helicopters, you see like with MASH.
Yeah.
Deaf.
Yeah, they are noisy.
Yeah, that's what he was flying in Vietnam. That's what he flew in Vietnam.
Did he?
Yeah.
Well, I would imagine those big ones would be loud
They
too.
are loud. Yeah.
Mm-mm.
I've got a neighbor across the street that was a Vietnam era pilot, and after Vietnam, he was over in Iran teaching the Iranians how to fly, and was there when the Shah fell, in 79 or 75, whenever it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, a long time ago.
Tell stories about, being whisked out of the country. And,
Who is that?
Ron Carruthers,
Yeah.
Ron,
I don't know him. I know the names.
yeah.
Lots of people in the country.
That's when somebody comes to you and says, "Time to go.
Yeah.
Time to go. Right now.
Not a joke.
Time to get out of Dodge."
Right.
I don't think any of us will be traveling any place anytime soon.
Not an airplane, that's for sure. I have no desire.
And I miss it.
Even before COVID, I had no desire to get on a plane. I flew so much in my career that
Yeah, I did too all the time.
it lost its allure.
Yeah.
I never had a serious incident on a plane either in all the years that I've flown.
I never have either.
There was- You ever get struck by lightning?
Hmm?
Did you ever have a plane get struck by lightning?
Nope.
I don't know if the plane was struck by lightning, but I do remember flying from Pittsburgh to New York and was in a storm, a really bad
Did you ever
storm.
see St. Elmo's fire?
I don't know if I did or not.
Did you ever see St. Elmo's fire?
Yeah.
Come down through the cabin?
I think I did.
I didn't see that.
When you get struck by lightning, it creates a plasma inside the cabin.
Oh, really?
So what you're saying is,
It's sort of a red glow that comes down through the cabin.
that would flip me out.
All right, we got one in the parking lot. So if y'all want me to, I'll go ahead and get her ready and bring her in.
Sure.
We're having so much fun.
I know. That's why I just came back to our menu zone.
Thank you.
Is it 10 o'clock?
Yeah, 10 o'clock, it's 784.
Oh, it's on
And I believe Aaron's
page
here.
2 in the middle. I don't know which the industry is.
Somebody find it
It's on page
Middle of page
2 in the
two.
middle.
in the middle? Okay.
Excuse me.
Do you know which one it is?
Page 2 in the middle.
784. Okay.
Count 59538.
No.
What?
Protest or evidence?
Let me look.
There's no,
There's no information. You're on the 10 o'clock docket?
yeah.
There's no
Yes.
protest or evidence, no.
What's that?
I don't see any protest or evidence, no.
No.
It's on here. It's on here.
Protest or evidence?
It's on the 10 o'clock docket. Go, get out and go back in again.
Yeah, I got 784, but I don't, I just have ACAD evidence.
Oh, I see.
I don't have anything that they've submitted evidence.
They don't have any
Okay.
evidence.
Mm-mm.
Do you have the,
But they're here, so.
do you have the
maybe-
protest form? Was it a online protest?
Online protest.
Okay.
Okey dokey.
So Ramona is not gonna be in all day, correct?
Well, no, she may come in at 10. But it may be a little after that when she comes in.
She's
So-
not there yet.
She isn't.
Mm-mm.
So if you see a phone number,
So I'll have to just keep checking. That's fine.
it doesn't pop up automatically. You have to go somewhere and look.
Mm-hmm. It's on this little screen thing, but yeah, you have to go somewhere and look. My son's birthday is tomorrow.
Which one?
My oldest one. Mm-hmm. Be 23. Jeez.
Wow.
I know. He's bummed because he's in Pennsylvania, so he's not here now. His girlfriend's like, "How do you make an upside down cake?" I have no idea. I was like, "Oh, I'll show you." Yeah, they still have 2 more years over there.
In Pennsylvania?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Their internship at Penn State was 4 years, so
Wow.
mm-hmm. There's still 2 more. They don't hate it. They absolutely hate it over there.
They do.
Well, there's no HEB. Like these kids are rotten. She's from Austin and he's from here, so she's like, it's just stuff that you're used to getting that you can't get up here, you know. So we send her them like boxes of stuff in the mail. She's like, the things you like, she's like gluten intolerant, but she'll make her still sick like on those HEB tortillas.
Yes.
Can you just send them to me? Like, just.
Oh my gosh, and she had the half corn, half flour ones.
Oh, those are my favorite.
Those are delicious.
I like those. Yeah, those are good.
They're half corn, half flour,
They're really good.
and they are so good. They're tortillas. They're the H-E-B brand.
Hi.
Hi, Aaron.
Oh, where's mine?
There is an affidavit that you're going to sign.
Coming late to the party.
I say you better get over here. I ain't doing it.
It's all fun. Yeah.
Jackie's got this one.
No.
Jackie, you could do this.
I could, but it's funner to just sit back here and just watch. Be behind the scenes.
Dallas scanning in the evidence right now.
All righty.
Got it, okay.
We're good whenever you are.
Well, we need to get the evidence scanned in.
It's a flash drive.
Now, if you put that in as evidence, you know we can't give it back
Yes.
to you.
I told her.
understand that.
Okay.
That one goes in the air gap
This one?
computer. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yep. Let me get Eamon, because
Okay,
do you remember how to do it?
I think so.
Okay.
Let's see.
Yeah, why don't you try it right now? It's important that board members don't discuss this when it goes up before we start the proceeding, so. Hey, the air gap computer. Boy, it's an age of technology, isn't it?
I don't know if it's a curse or a blessing.
I think it's a little bit of both. There's times where you go, "Ooh, technology," there's other times where you want to throw the iPad across the room.
I tried to do the change the thing. and it doesn't- Let's just see. Oh, wait, is this it?
Now, is there other material being scanned in?
Oh, no.
No, I think it's just the drive.
This on here is not, doesn't have anything to do with my property.
That's, are we looking at case, 784?
784.
784.
I didn't know what to do, it's just not working.
Good, go. Fogging up.
I'm on the outside, I don't go on the outside.
Across the room.
So then
Oh,
when
there
I
we
want to
go.
switch,
Okay.
I just switch it over.
Yeah, you were doing it right.
Oh, I was, okay.
You were asleep.
You ready?
Thank you.
Ready? Mhm.
Okay. Opening a hearing on case number 2020-784, account number 59538. We have some administrative to go through. Just follow along. I'll be asking a few questions along the way.
Could I know who this is in the room?
Yeah. we'll tell you that.
He'll tell you.
Okay, thank you.
This hearing is being recorded. We are the appraisal review board that will be hearing your protest today. That's Robert Dayton, Cindy Duck, Kathy Hoffman, and Charlie Power.
And you're all board members?
We're all board members.
Okay,
Mike is the representative of the district.
district, okay.
We're review board members.
We do not work for the appraisal district. We are appointed to perform an independent review of your protest.
Okay,
At the end of the hearing, you may complete a survey regarding your experience. The survey may be completed using a survey form an email to pcad.communications@cpa.texas.gov or online at surveymonkey.com/r/surveyarb. Survey is voluntary, but we do appreciate you taking it. You also have the right to appeal our decision. Appeal information will be provided to you with our determination. In accordance with Tax Code Section 4145H, all written material that has not been provided must be provided at this time. So we got everything now, right?
Yes.
Okay. The ARB members who are considering the protest have not communicated with anyone about the protest and are signing an affidavit to that effect. I, Charles Powers, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of Tax Code Section 41.66F.
I, Kathy Hoffman, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of Tax Code Section 41.66.
I, Cindy Duck, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of Tax Code Section 41.66F.
I, Robert Dayton, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of Tax Code Section 41.66F.
All testimony from all witnesses must be given under oath.
I do solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony I shall present to the Appraisal Review Board for the Aransas County Appraisal District is true and correct.
Please state your name for the record.
Aaron Kathleen Gorman Deneen.
Thank you.
And my name is Michael Soto. I do solemnly swear or affirm the testimony I shall present to the Appraisal Review Board for the Aransas County Appraisal District is true and correct.
Do you hold a license or certificate from the Texas Appraisers?
No.
Take to the table there and then where your laptop is, there's a chart that shows, the other way, there you go.
Here?
No, on paper, your hands on it.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
There you go. Those are the procedures that we use to run this hearing. You get to choose whether the district goes first or you go first.
I'd like the district to go first.
Okay.
Okay, the subject property is at 828 Stanley Street. It's in Bellevue. Bellevue is the next neighborhood over from like Oak Terrace. It's to the north of Market Street. You can see on the pictometry imagery that this is one of the houses, or it's the house on Stanley Street. The subject property experienced a change, and so did, I believe, the neighborhood due to the to some of the sales in the area. The subject was one of the sales. This last year it sold for $275,000. We currently have a valuation of $264 and change. You can see with this evidence, continue on. Continue on in the sales grid. This subject has quite a bit of land. It's not just a single lot. It has 25,000 square feet or excess of 25,000 square feet of land. Of course, the first comp is the subject itself. It sold for $275. The next one is on Stewart Street. That one sold for $219 and change. And that was in April of 20. You can see that when appropriately adjusted with the comp, you can see that it produces a value of $231,900. The difference is there is that obviously the 219 cell is much smaller than the subject. The subject is 2,303 square feet. Very similar in effective age. Again, comp number 3, next page. Comp number 3 is in Redwood. It's the next thing over. It's the next neighborhood over. That one sold for $265. It's smaller than the subject. Same general class. One is fiberboard, one is brick. When adjusted with the subject for location size and effective age, you can see that it produces a value of $281 and change. The median value of those three is $275, which happens to be the subject property's sale price. Moving on, the second thing under protest is equity. The equity grid, these are not necessarily sales, they're just other properties that are 5FBs, like the subject. They're appropriately adjusted for both the size, effective age, and land location value. So you can see that the difference between comp number 1 and the subject here is obviously just the land size and the associated value. There's an adjustment there. You can see that there's an effective age change associated with, and it's bigger than the it's smaller than the subject. There's a size, there's a change there. When you're looking at that price, the price that it produces for the indicated value, when compared with the subject, produces a value of $275. The next one is also in Bellevue. So comp number 1 and the subject are in Bellevue. Comp number 2 is also in Bellevue. That one currently has a value of 197 and change. The 5FB, it's smaller than the subject by almost 2 times. It's about the same age as the subject. And when you look at the value for that one, that's 268 and change. The last one here is comp number 3. This is also in Bellevue, also another 5FB. And again, you can see with these, we try to use the same classification of the home. This one is, again, 1,000 square feet smaller than the subject. It's about the same effective age. It produces a value of 280. Now, what's interesting about this grid, on the equity grid, you can see that the grid is tight on the indicated value. You see 280, then go back, 280, 268, and 275. That's a really tight grid when you're talking equity. And what's nice to know about that is they're all 5FBs. They're all in the same neighborhood, and they're appropriately adjusted for both size, their land value, and any effective age change that's there. So the value that's purported there is 275. What's nice when you look about that grid, and then you compare it, go back twice to the sales grid, that's also producing a value of 275. It's not, I mean, we like to see these grids because the sales confirm the equity, and both of those grids are pointing to that same number. I mean, 275 on both those grids is it's actually pretty remarkable. When you're looking beyond that, what are the elements why did we change it to a 5FB? I'll get to that in the rebuttal. Those are some of the pictures.
Because if you want like another minute or something, we can do it.
As long as equal time is granted to the property owner, yeah, I'll take it now.
Okay.
What I'd say is, why did we change it to a 5FB? You can see some of the elements, the granite countertops, the ceiling fans, huge throughout. I mean, you can see this is a nice home, a very nice home. It's got concrete floors, but it's really well done in that way. And you can see at the very end of this, you can see the sales ratio report. I believe that's for Bellevue, the whole Bellevue area. And you can see that we're at 90. I can't see that. Pull it over.
Sorry.
That's okay. It's the white area. I still can't. 99 points. So this is talking about the appraisal accuracy in the Bellevue area as a whole. So we got that general area, we're at 99% in that general area.
Okay. Can I just, where is this?
Bellevue, yeah, if you go to pictometry, zoom out twice, or maybe 3 times. So you've got to the area, this is, yeah, that's good, right? Well, zoom out one more time.
Where's the home?
One more time. This is the far north end of, okay, so here's Oak Terrace, here's Bellevue, and here's Smith and Wood. And this road right here is Market Street. This is the bypass, so this is the corner of Market and Bypass.
Oh.
Give you some reference.
Okay. Got it. Thank you. All right, so ma'am, you've got, and I'm sorry, your first name is Erin?
Uh-huh,
So can I call you Erin?
absolutely.
Okay, so, you get, 2 minutes to like cross-examine, okay? And then you get 5 minutes to present. So, and if you need another minute, I'll just automatically give it to you. Okay?
Should I proceed?
Oh, yes, I'm sorry.
So what is 5FB?
Oh, so we have classes from 1 to 7, 1 being a poor home, 7 being an excellent home. So that would make the midpoint of 4. A 4 would be an average home. We're saying a 5 is an above average home. FB stands for fiberboard or hardy plank.
How are the adjustments made for the square footage and the age of the property? What is the formula?
Sure. It's a little, I'll try to explain it the best I can. So in every specific thing, like this is really a good example because comp number 1 is the subject. You'll notice that there's no adjustment here. There's zeros here. But in every specific grid, so if you had a land value change, like this is 6,000 square feet, and there's $25,000 worth of value for this one as opposed to 43. It looks at the difference, and it makes the comp like the subject. In the formulas for the effective for the size, it's actually done right here, and it's done on grids and matrices. Within each specific class, you have a double matrice, which includes both a year built and also the size and economies of size. Now, what I mean by that is that if you have this thing, if we were to go into there, it's most probably, since there's not very much difference between the age, this is probably going to have a higher price per square foot, but this is 1,000, over 1,000 square feet more. So it looks at the difference of that value, and it places a value right here.
That doesn't answer my question. So is there this matrices you're talking about? Can I have a copy of that?
It's really voluminous. Through an open records request, I can get you what our matrices are, but it's pretty large. I can show you each specific one in our grid right here. I can actually take you to this card and tell you what that price per square foot, and you can compare it to your price per square foot and look at that difference. It was not presented as evidence today.
And then you mentioned that they're Bellevue. What is the difference with Annex K as opposed to just straight Bellevue?
Annex K was an old neighborhood that was a purported neighborhood that might have been pulled into the city limits. Bell 24 is a specific area in Bellevue in which the entire block is made up of very new homes, which is a little different than the rest of Bellevue.
And then how does the interior play into all of this? I mean, just a little bit of background. I'm from Illinois. And so obviously your processes and evaluations, the things that mean something are definitely different than what I'm used to. But how does the interior, how is that valued on the comp grids?
Yeah, the interior really speaks to the class of the subject property. So if you have something that's, if you can imagine in your mind's eye, the poorest home in the county being a class 1, and the best home in the county with all of the interior elements and exterior elements that are contributory to that classification, that would be a 7. What we're saying in a 4, it would be an average home. So anything that's got granite, it's going to be a 5 or better because it's just better than builder grade.
So is there like a chart that says that if it has these features, it is this class or this class, or is it a subjective?
It's a little bit of both. We do have an appraisal manual that speaks to the general classifications. You're welcome to that. It's on our website as well, that you can look at to see how we classify properties. It's a little bit subjective from what we see in a in interior elements, because
is there a how does flooring play into that?
Flooring plays into the effect that it has whatever contributory value. It's one of the elements of interior.
So if it has no flooring, it's just a concrete floor, that would be a problem, wouldn't it?
If it were a concrete unfinished floor, this is a polished concrete floor that's pretty fine. I mean, this is a fine looking home. I mean, that's every bit of a class 5 in my opinion.
in your opinion? It's.
I've been doing this for 15 years. It's my congruency. So if I call it blue or red or ABC, we're using the same congruency for equity.
Okay. Do I still have time?
Yeah,
Yes.
sure.
Okay. Can you go back to the comp listing,
Mhm.
please?
Equity or sales?
Right, my home, please.
There's two different grids.
There's equity or sales. Which one do you want?
Equity's fine.
Okay.
So the photo at the bottom, that concrete pad in the front of the driveway there, what do you call that?
I don't know that I have it on the,
It's not on here.
I don't have it assessed.
You do have it on there, it's PO 760. There is no other porch
Go back,
in our
Go back.
home
go back.
that meets those specifications.
I've got PO 760 at 760 square feet.
It's that concrete slab, which is not a
Oh,
porch.
it's an open porch, yeah.
That is not a porch, that's a driveway.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to be argumentative.
No, that's good.
So the point is that,
If you'd like to have it as, I mean, we can change that to concrete, yeah.
okay, and then also on the main area,
Certainly.
what, you've got the main area of the home, which is 1,727 square feet, and then you have these two other main area. Those are actually sheds. Can you go to the photos?
On your.
That's fine. See the two sheds there behind the house? Those are sheds. They're not main living area. They're not living area. They're not finished. They do have electricity, but there's no running water in them.
Do they have AC?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, they do have AC.
Yeah, that's really the defining thing for us is that, it's
You have another minute,
an
so
air
you're good.
conditioned space.
Okay. I mean, I think that's subjective because we store things in there and the humidity control is
Yeah.
important, but that doesn't mean that it's living space.
No, it's not. We don't have it as, we have it as air conditioned space.
Okay, so is there, if you go back to the comps again, please?
Yeah, you can see a big difference right there, but this is really good. I hope this answers your question. I don't know if this is where you're going. We definitely see a difference between the main house at a 5 and this is a 2. So, we're carrying this at a very low level, but it's still an air conditioned space.
Could you go to the comps that list the other properties, please? Okay, so the main 288 for each of the sheds is valued at $10,203 for sheds. How do you value that? How do you arrive at that figure?
Okay, it's the main living space. So we actually have yours assessed at 14 and change a piece. I think that's what the value is.
16,460.
16 and go right here, 16,460. But the contributory value as it relates to the whole main living space, or the whole air conditioned area, is only 10. So we're only adding 10 to this equation.
I'll wait and present that in my evidence.
You're in that kind of.
Oh, I am? I'm sorry. Okay, well, at any rate, if you would go in my evidence, now I gotta get my screen back up. And if there's a folder called land comps.
It's coming, man. We're trying.
Okay.
Oh, it keeps.
No, it's still on. I can see the light.
Yeah, I see HDMI over here.
It is, but it's not circulating switching servers. Hold on.
Cindy,
Yes.
hold time for a minute until it
Yeah,
gets.
sorry, it's the computer.
Wonder if you move your mouse over.
Well, I have to turn it on again.
Okay.
This is what Eamon did, so I'm gonna do the same thing he did.
Okay.
So Mike,
Yes,
I'm just asking, okay, so I just wanna make sure I'm understanding. The two storage
Clock
sheds,
is on hold.
Pardon me?
The
I
clock is
understand.
on hold.
they're, each one of them
Sorry,
is worth
it's just-
$16,460.
yeah.
How big are they?
How big are they?
Square feet.
Yeah, they're on there.
So that, I mean, I know they're on there, but so give me a for instance.
Well, if they were a shed that was like a regular shed, they wouldn't be valued that high.
Because
They're air conditioned. I mean, they're like people have painting closets or painting sheds. They have, other things that they put. I mean, it's more valuable. Would you like to have one that's a regular shed or an air conditioned shed? The answer is you'd like to have one that's air conditioned shed. That's our whole reason for carrying them in this way. But we do have them at a very low class. It's almost like
Like they have windows and everything?
There are no windows.
No.
Well,
yeah, the
he
class.
didn't say anything about windows. I just asked.
I understand.
Okay.
Yeah, the class is, so if one of these units were hypothetically a home, I mean, obviously there would be no kitchen, no bathroom or something like that. We have it to the very low end. We're saying that a shed is gonna be somewhere in that $5,000 to $6,000 range. These are air conditioned areas that have resident value associated with them.
So even if it's just a window AC,
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, if it's an AC in an area, that adds a lot of value to, especially in this climate,
Because you could put a room in there.
right? You
well,
could,
and sometimes like if you even just have like a little room, a room that's been portioned off in it, that's AC, but the rest is open.
it's like, the situation that I would give is like an MAS value for like a Keel-Acre home. This is not a Keel-Acre home, but in one in which you have something that originally was below the house and was a storage that was now made into an air-conditioned space. It has value.
Or the flip, or the flip of that.
Yeah,
now.
exactly.
Okay, I don't know what's going on.
You just go.
I already texted him, he's not coming, so.
Yeah, just go get it.
Okay. Oh, we're still waiting.
The clock's on hold.
Yeah, we're not.
I turned it off and turned it back on and it doesn't work.
So the TV, is that something we would do at the end when we're taking the
Oh, we
video?
could do that at any time.
Yeah, I already turned it off and on and it doesn't work.
What did you hit? What did you?
Just any button. The computer just went to sleep.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Got you.
Here you go. Just use this mouse.
Okay.
Oh, you just.
Yeah.
So did you just touch the mouse to get it going?
Yeah, or any button on the keyboard. Yeah.
That's what I was saying, Jack.
Computer just fell asleep.
Okay,
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
you start the clock again.
All right, where would you like?
The folder land comps, please. And if you would look at the Excel spreadsheet, please. So these are two homes that I identified in my neighborhood. One is at 502 Stanley. You can see the amount of land they have. And there's a price per square foot cost. My per square foot of land is $1.68. The Trailer Street address is 60 cents and the Stanley Street address is 88 cents. So certainly my land is valued twice as much as these other two properties, and certainly the Stanley property, if you could see that property, and there are pictures that I've taken that are included in this folder of that property, but you can see the house itself is valued at $348,000. But their land is not worth as much, which does not make sense to me. That is not a logical valuation. And then you can see that the total appraisal of my property increased 36% in 1 year. The Stanley property, which is a beautiful piece of property, increased 1%. So certainly we're, it's very subjective who we raise how much. And then, let's see here. On the trailer property, I have the sheet that shows all of their, if you want to go back to the folder itself. And then the 604, the trailer covered porch file. And it's sideways. Okay, they have this deck off the back, which provides a porch underneath it. That is not valued at all on their sheet. There is no figure on their sheet listed for that structure.
What account is that?
It's 604 trailer.
Okay. We'll mark that for next year.
And if you go back to the folder again, the 604 trailer thing, the other thing that's unusual to me, can we go to 604 trailer A, please? I'm sorry, let's go to B. So if you look at it, it was valued at $175,000 in 2017. And then I assume that the 2018 and the 2019 figures were adjusted for Harvey. But then again, here we are in 2020, and if you look at the structure, it's perfectly fine. So I don't understand why it's appraised more or in prior years than it is currently. Okay, and then go to the 502 shed, 502 Stanley shed. Boy, these pictures didn't turn out very good on here. There you go. So this is a shed that's very comparable to mine. If you look at their sheet, we can go to 502 Stanley A or B. I'm not sure which one. Go to B, please. If you look on there, I mean, this is a huge piece of property, but the shed is certainly not valued anywhere near what mine is valued at. And there's no difference. It's got the same kind of siding on it. It's probably a little smaller. It's classed as detached storage, which is exactly what ours is. It's detached storage. My husband keeps his tools in one shed. I keep miscellaneous things that I don't want to have in the house, like Christmas decorations, those kinds of things, in the other one.
Is that the one that's, just to make sure, it's the one that's 140 square feet?
Yes.
Okay.
Does this have a code on it? The type?
It just says SD. I mean, I haven't even looked into it at all.
This
This
doesn't,
is her information.
Yeah.
the information that I have access to is obviously not the same that you have access to. Okay, if we can go to the CAD
Okay,
comps
and
folder, please.
You've got one more minute, so I would.
Okay, if you please go to that folder. Do I get an extra minute because it takes a long time to find stuff? Okay, so just the main points here, and all of the evidence to support the arguments that I'm going to make are included in those documents. The 760 square feet porch shouldn't even be listed. It is our driveway. All the other homes that are listed in the comps have concrete driveways. Ours is the only one that's given any value. The adjustment was $6,920 for our driveway. I've already touched on the sheds. I assume that living area square footage is worth more than a shed square footage would be, so I believe that that is over appraised. All of the comps on Steert have city sewer, which we don't have. The comps in the neighborhood, the Redwood house, as well as the Steert houses, they all have homes on either side of them. Our block is only mobile homes on both sides of the street for the entire block, and there's only one way into our street, and that's on Rose Street, and that block of Rose Street is nothing but mobile homes also. the percentage of increase in the appraisal of the properties from 2019 to 2020, ours increased 38.4%. The Redwood property increased 18.9%, and the Steer property increased 6.6 or 6.5. All three of them are right in the same range. So certainly, and then there's another folder called adjacent properties.
Okay, right now, I've got to cut, and I'm sorry, I've got to cut you off, because I
Okay.
gave you more than a minute to make up, so, but you'll have another opportunity. Okay, so now, the district has 2 minutes to cross-examine and 2 minutes for rebuttal.
Okay, we currently have 264, 310. I'm just gonna ask a question. This is my cross-examine time, right?
Yes,
I'm just gonna ask a question of the property owner. What do you believe your value is of your home?
Well, I don't have the tools available that you have to be able to value it fairly, but certainly I don't believe that it has been valued fairly. I don't believe those sheds should be valued the way they're valued. And I certainly don't believe that we should have our driveway considered a porch.
Yeah, I've already conceded that point. I'm asking just a general question. What do you think your value of your house should be valued?
I would, what my proposed remedy is that it be assessed at the same value as it was in 2019 until such time as these things can be addressed. And the other point I should.
Just to be clear,
Okay,
you believe that your house value, your whole property is worth 190,000?
I believe that is what it should be assessed at.
That wasn't the question. What do you believe your house value is?
Again, I'm not an appraiser, I could not say.
Okay, but you're obviously in here because you checked incorrect appraised value. So you have an opinion of what your house is worth.
I believe that the appraised value is incorrect because the information that you have regarding the porch
Okay.
and the sheds is incorrect.
Okay, for the record, the property owner did not answer my question. Second question, did you pay $275,000 for the subject property?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Was the property on the open market?
Yes, it was.
Okay. Were you fully informed about the market conditions?
Pardon me?
Were you fully informed about the like what you were buying?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. So the property owner, for the record, has stated that the property was on the open market and that they were fully informed of market conditions. They were a willing buyer in this transaction. She verified that subject property is at 275. So for the element or for the property, as it relates to market value, not only did we look at that sale, but we looked at other sales and we appropriately adjusted that one. Those in comparison with the subject property. So the only thing left is the things as far as equity. I'm willing to look at anything that she wants to bring up. I'm willing to look at land value, economies of size. You know, as far as the concrete thing, we could take that $6,900 or whatever off. That's fine. That's not a problem. The sheds are better than regular sheds. You know, as far as looking at a shed at some other location and comparing that shed, I don't know, does that other one have an air conditioner in it? If it does, then I don't have that information and I'd be glad to adjust them in a similar fashion. But any remainder of my time, because I'm into my cross-examine and rebuttal time.
but you only got a minute, so if she has a question, she needs to get it out quickly.
No, it's my questions.
Oh,
Right, so I'm in my cross-examine time. After that, is it my rebuttal? I'm asking.
no, no.
Yes. Well,
Look-
sorry.
Look in the, it's my cross-examine,
Okay, I put in 4 minutes.
okay,
2 minutes for cross-examine.
that was my question. That
2
was my-
minutes for
That
rebuttal.
was my question. It was-
You're at 30, I'll add some because part of it.
Okay,
Okay, so you'll be at 1 minute and 33 seconds.
minute 33 seconds for my rebuttal. So with my rebuttal time, I would like to answer any questions that the board has of me in relation to what she has brought up as evidence. I'm willing to look at anything. That's all I'm gonna say. The minute 33 pull up whatever you wanna pull up.
Okay, I do wanna see I wanna know the per square foot at is the 604 trailer, is that
The property,
near hers?
the property's at 828 Stanley, but I'll be glad to look at that one. 604 trailer.
It's 3 blocks from me. The,
Oh,
And pull up pictometry imagery as well.
It's 3 blocks? Oh.
13,
Yes.
Well, hold up, so let me see where it is.
841.
Okay, can you pull out?
Yeah, we're gonna, and this is where the subject is. We're gonna do 13,841. And you're gonna see where that is in relation to this one.
841.
That's what I think it was. So, zoom out one time. Or twice. Okay, what I'd like to say is that the subject property is somewhere right over here. And she's comparing the price per square foot of a lot.
Oh,
that's
okay, so
that's
that, you don't,
10 times
because
as
it'll
big as-
be.
There's an economy of size that's obviously there.
So what about 502 Stanley?
502 Stanley, we'll look at that one.
Sorry.
$13,772. That's this one here.
Which is also gonna have an economy of size on
That's
it.
exactly right. It's bigger than.
Okay, so let's look at one near hers. Let's pull up
Sure.
where she is, sorry.
Just put the, her account number is,
I got it.
okay.
You understand what we're talking
Yes,
about
I do,
when we
I
say
do.
economy of
Can you
size?
look at this one right here, please? Just the one right next door.
Perfect.
It's 595, or just go to her, well, yeah, 5937,
59537.
yeah. If you want to look at the land price per square foot.
Yeah.
$1.69. What's the subject?
I'm looking, hold on.
$1.68.
Okay, so now let's look at the house on the other,
Yeah, the subject is
It's
$1.69, just like.
okay, so let's look at the house on the other side of her, which I think also was the same,
Just, no, you're good, you're good. Just go left 2 times. Or 3 times now. One more. Just, I guess that's it. Okay, just, yeah, do your way, Jackie.
Yeah, I don't know if that's
Yeah, do
right.
your way.
Okay, so you want to do this one with the mobile?
Yeah, 58801. It looks like it's bigger. It's $1.69 on that Burton table. Just like the subject.
all right, so that answers that, and then the other question I have is, when Aaron, when you bought the property, were you under direct, I mean, was there a reason that you paid what you paid for the whole thing?
I mean, that was
I
like,
mean, of the houses that we looked for, one thing I will say is we were kind of in a hurry because we found 2 other properties that we were interested in.
Okay,
And we went and we looked at them one day and then we called the realtor to go look at them again the next day and they already were under contract.
okay.
So we did have to make a decision a lot faster than we would have liked. But we'd already missed out on 2 that we wanted.
where are we at on our?
Okay, so now it's done. So now, we are, she gets 2 minutes of rebuttal and then you're closing.
Okay, for my rebuttal, while we have these 2 properties up here, you can see this 59537. next to me, if you look in the folder for 828 adjacent that I gave you, which you don't have to do it now because it takes too long, that is a mobile home. You can see it's got a shed. It's been depreciated because the house is depreciated. There's no value given to the shed whatsoever. Or they also have a screened-in back porch, which we are charged for our screened-in back porch, however, they are not. Same way with the property on the other side of us, that shed there, which is just catty corner from our shed, there's no value given to that or to the porch because they're on mobile homes. So, you know, I don't think the whole system of doing things here is really fair. And then the other thing, the purchase price of $275,000 is completely irrelevant. If you look at Exhibit 1 in my evidence, you will see that according to the comptroller of the state of Texas, assessments are supposed to be based on the value as of January 1. And we didn't purchase the property until March 13th. So how would they have, I believe that he's admitted that they used the sale price in their calculation for what this property is worth, which is prohibited. They had no way to know that it would sell for $275,000 on January 1. Let's see. Trying to think of what else he mentioned. I guess I'll go ahead and go into,
We're getting ready to be done.
yeah, my closing.
No, not yet.
Okay.
Not yours.
Okay, yeah, he's got to do this first. Okay.
Okay, so now, Mike, you get.
In light of all the evidence that's been presented by the subject property owner, we looked at economies of size and scale. We looked at equality as it relates to land value, and they're equal on either side. In relation to market value, the sales price is always relevant. Furthermore, this value would have been here regardless if it had sold or not, because we didn't do it on the sale, we did it on the listing. We were doing this analysis in the months of January, February, March. This property sold in March. We didn't get that sale until what, 3/13. So we would have already done the analysis based on the interior elements. Of course, it's always relevant. Secondly, what I would say is that the 264 value, we should mitigate and reduce that value by approximately $6,920. I don't know what that figure is, but for the concrete driveway thing in the front. Otherwise, every other element, all of our grids hold true. The equity holds true. We've even exhausted equity and that held true. That's all I got.
And ma'am, it'll be your closing. I want to ask one last question before your closing. Are those sheds at your house, are they attached to your house?
No, the one on the left isn't attached to anything. The one on the right isn't attached to the house, but there's a screened porch there, and the entrance to that shed the door is on the screened porch.
Yeah.
Right, so you access it from your house.
Well, I access it from my porch.
Okay, so
And I do have a photo of that door in the 828 photos folder.
okay. So this is your roof.
Yes,
Where's the screen porch?
right
Here?
there. Uh-huh.
Okay, so what's here?
That is, in my opinion, it's a sidewalk, but we're charged I forget how many square feet for that too. That's considered a porch too.
No, but so that's concrete.
It's not concrete. It's the same material that's in the shed.
Okay, so you're saying the floors in the sheds are not concrete?
No, they're wood. They're sheds, just like any other shed.
Okay, all right. So this is your porch,
Yes,
and the way you enter this one is by,
the door there.
okay. And then how do you access this one?
The door is right here for the,
Okay, and are they,
Is this the
do the
liberation
roofs
time,
touch?
or what is this?
no, they did not.
Should be done.
Okay.
We're done, so.
Yeah.
Right, I mean, I'm just, she gets her closing, but I'm asking questions. All right, so now you get your 1 minute closing.
Okay, so, again, I believe that our property was not assessed on January 1. I believe that the sale price did play into the assessment. I believe that the land comps, you can argue economies of scale, but the properties are, certainly the Stanley Street property is much better than mine. And certainly some of their accoutrements at these properties, they have not been charged for. The comps for the county provided, again, I believe that they're not really appropriate. There's no adjustment made for the fact that they have city sewer and we don't. There's no adjustment made for the neighborhood that is neighborhoods with homes, and ours is just, we're the only home in the neighborhood. Also, our appraisal was 38.4% increase, and the others were 6.6.
Okay, thank you. All right, so now the appraisal review board gets 5 minutes to discuss and come up with their evaluation.
Okay, this, if you take the 6920 off, it's 257,390.
That's what I got.
Okay. And just the concrete for the driveway go back on, or, how?
No, we don't assess for
You don't
drive.
assess for driveways, okay, all right. Yeah, I would agree that needs to be made. I believe the district has shown with other sales comps, it wasn't just this sale that was part of that concrete, that there's other sales that support the value of the neighborhood and this house.
Now, I also want to comment too, that you made a comment that you think your 275 was driven into the cost of what your house is assessed at right now. And that's not the case. As the district said, the price was already established before you bought your house. So anyway, I think the district has proved that between equity value and market value, your house is below those. Certainly willing to take off the value for the porch. Other than that, I believe it should stay where it is.
And I'd have to agree, because, I mean, we keep seeing it. Those places out there just keep selling like crazy, and the values are holding up. So I'm gonna make a motion based upon what we've seen from the district and from the property owner on account number 59538, that the 2020 value be lowered to $257,390, and that's due to the that porch or whatever being taken off at $6,920.
Second,
Second.
in favor?
Aye.
Okay. You have a new value.
Thank you so much for coming in.
So if we take the air conditioning out of our sheds, what happens?
Then the market reaction to that is less valuable.
But it wouldn't show till.
I'm gonna double check. That's usually not.
In all sincerity, if you do that, please inform us.
But that can't go into effect until next
No,
January.
but don't do it before until December 31st of this year, because it only based upon what it's at January 1st.
Theoretically. The only comment that I would have is just that I had a lot of evidence that you all were not even able to look at because this process is so compacted. And I just think that you all should consider your procedure times because it's,
You can't change it.
it's
mandated by the state.
State mandated.
It's state mandated. We
Okay.
don't follow state rules.
Okay, thank you.
Have a good day.
Wait.
Did Beth say that, maybe we have letters?
Almost, not yet, hold on. It's recalculating.
We should have, I think, one more.
Almost.
I'll go
I
check.
thought we had another person, Mike, but I could be wrong.
I'm gonna
It's
go check.
spinning,
I'm gonna
it's
check
spinning.
that in letters.
I was like, oh, I see. It's still spinning, sorry.
I forgot sakes, Jackie. Just throw it on the floor.
I know, this aggravates the crap out of me. Oh, it's just, it should be
Oh, I can
easy to
take this
stop.
off now, yay!
Okay, you're good.
Is it off?
Good, yeah.
Is it off?
Muted.
Oh, no, not, that's not.
There's one thing about
You
us, if
hit
you
end
look at that
meeting for
over
all.
and approve it.
You hit end meeting.
Are we done?
Uh-huh, yeah. Or